I'm Laura SKANDERA Trombley, and I'm the 16th president of Southwestern University. It's great to be here with you today. You'll notice that I don't have my mask on right now. That's because I'm at home. But I'm excited to show you our beautiful campus and to just give you a little bit of insight into the university that's been here since 1840. I'd like to talk about one of my favorite students here at Southwestern, and his name is Ben LIBBY. Ben is a wonderful student, a great community member, and he's also an attacker on the men's lacrosse team. He had a tough time when he was diagnosed with cancer, but in a true pirate moment, he decided that not only was he going to fight the battle and win, but he was also going to raise money that would go for families who were dealing with a member of their family who is stricken with cancer.
November 18th, I woke up in the middle of the night with a stabbing pain in my stomach and was taken to St. David's Hospital, where they told me that I had a volleyball-sized tumor in my liver. On November 20th, I had right hepatic lobectomy to remove a 4.5-pound tumor and 2/3 of my liver. And 6 days later, I was diagnosed with undifferentiated embryonal sarcoma of the liver. 2 weeks later, I got in contact with the Headstrong Foundation through Coach Markland, and they helped me out a lot financially to relieve the burden of medical expenses, and they sent me a comfort package. On January 24th, I began a 4.5-month chemotherapy regimen and finished that on May 11th. I immediately got back in contact with Headstrong to help them by putting on a 5K to raise money for them. The 5K was held on the weekend of September 26th and 27th, and with the help of my Southwestern teammates and the Southwestern community, we were able to exceed my goal of $5,000, and we raised $6,400 for Headstrong.
Last February, we all saw the start of what would become a global pandemic. Southwestern University, for the first time in its history, decided that it would go to fully online instruction. And they made the change literally within days. And it was not easy. And one of our incredibly talented faculty, ERIN CROCKETT, Associate Professor of Psychology, has weathered some of the changes and has incorporated those into her teaching for this term.
I've been teaching at Southwestern since 2011, and I truly love this university. My research area focuses on close relationships, and more specifically, the impact that those close relationships, so things like friendships or romantic relationships, has on our physical health. So prior to campus shutdown last year, I had never taught a course online. And so outside of maybe recording little things to help my students understand a concept and posting those on my Moodle site, I really didn't have any experience teaching online. Throughout all of this process, I have been so thankful for resources and workshops that have been provided for us that help us translate the things we typically do in a classroom to an online environment. Certainly one of the hallmarks of a liberal arts education is these smaller classes that allow for things like group work, discussions. It's not just a classroom where we're sitting back and lecturing and trying to deliver content. The interaction component is really important. And I think we've learned some really cool skills about how to do that. Maybe not exactly in the same way that we would do it in a classroom, but some things that mirror that. Some of our courses, they're challenging regardless of situations, but right now, for example, I'm teaching research methods and a lab for research methods. Altogether, we are in a shared online space for 3 hours. Keeping attention for 3 hours online for anybody is challenging. And my students are online at 8 a.m. in the morning. And my students are just really rising to the challenge. Another example in a course that I taught this summer on close relationships, which is my area of expertise. I have all of these different topics that I cover that I know a lot about, but they're not necessarily my specific areas. So I can teach and cover big picture concepts, which I would always do in the course, but I can also zoom in colleagues in my field where this is their area. they are the ones conducting this research, right? It is their term. They coined the theory, and I can zoom them in and let them share a little bit with students. And I find students get really excited about that. When they're seeing in class the people who wrote the articles that they're reading, when they can ask them questions and engage with the material with people who truly are the expert on that topic, it excites them in new ways. And it occurred to me halfway through this, I can record these Zooms, right? And these people that are coming into my class virtually, I have those now, and I can use them even moving forward as ways of introducing people to some of these scholars and some of their really amazing work. So I'm excited for how that will probably continue to influence the way I teach these courses moving forward.
While experiences in the classroom are absolutely vital, we also pride ourselves on offering students really interesting, high-impact experiences and really get to understand not just conceptual things that they learn in the classroom, but how to apply them prior to graduation.
Southwestern positively impacted my internship experience in a number of ways. First, I'd say just with the application process, this was my first time making a resume, again, a professional headshot, cover letter, all that stuff. The Center for Career and Professional Development helped me get all that stuff ready for the very first time. I felt really prepared because of the team there in the Center for Career and Professional Development. So shout out to those guys, number one. I worked on a data analytics team that did forecast modeling for our mortgage portfolio, primarily supporting a capital markets risk team and also some other teams in the investment bank. And I didn't know how to do any of it. There's a lot of technical stuff I didn't know. It's true for any internship, a lot of business related things and business processes that you're learning for the very first time. I think I had an edge on the competition in a lot of ways in that I'd been used to learning a lot of new and different things. The interdisciplinary approach to education at Southwestern made me feel really prepared for approaching a new problem from multiple perspectives and then presenting my ideas, orally and written, which there's a huge focus on that at Southwestern, and that was something I was really comfortable doing, and something that allows you to kind of leave a stamp on things when you leave. And ultimately, I was invited back in a full-time capacity, and now I am in a rotational analyst program that will give me exposure to different areas in the bank. And I was able to land this full-time role because the internship went well, and because Southwestern prepared me to be a creative problem solver and a really good communicator. So I credit, honestly, all my success so far and just having a job and being able to start my career at a really good established firm, especially during a time like the pandemic. I have to give credit to Southwestern for that.
So my most memorable experience here at Southwestern has definitely been my research. So I do research in molecular ecology with Dr. Romy Burks. So I started my research my sophomore year of college, whenever I was circling in on what I really wanted to do here at Southwestern. So my lab partner and I participated in an 8-week research program, SCOPE. It was a great experience. I not only did molecular work, but I also did field work. Like, we went to Houston and I was actually able to go into the field and actually look for these apple snails. And I think that that's just a crazy experience for an undergrad student. Like, how many undergrad students can say that they worked with like high-tech biology equipment, as well as went and did field research with a primary investigator on a project? So after I completed my research in SCOPE 2019, I immediately went to Coimbra, Portugal, where I had a fellowship at SHAY Hospital. So my fellowship was 8 hours of shadowing every single day for 1 month. And I had a rotation at the hematology department. So during the hematology department, they were teaching us how to run qPCRs in hematology. And I was like, wait, qPCR? I know that word. Like, I've done that all the time. Like, I do that all the time with my research with Dr. Burks. Like, it's there. Like, I know exactly what you're talking about. I can only say that because of all the skills that I have learned from Southwestern and my research advisor, as well as my lab partner. Oh, she's amazing. So I think that's one of the most impactful things that I'm going to walk away with. My research followed me to Portugal. Who knew?
Because we're all very safely socially distancing, we are going to take off our masks so you can understand us just a little bit better. And so I wanted to just talk to both of you a little bit today about civil discourse, which is now becoming emerging dialogues. And I can't think of anything at this exact moment in time more important than understanding and educating people about how to have difficult conversations.
The reason that we changed the name from Civil Discourse to Emerging Dialogues was really because we wanted it to be a more inclusive space. We feel like civil discourse kind of had this specific connotation that is very, implies the binary that we look at politics in. And so Emerging Dialogues is just about all of the different perspectives that we can get from a political conversation.
How do you think that this change is going to affect participation in these continuing dialogues?
Well, I think one of the most important things that we should all note about coming to these events is that we're here to learn. As much as we're here to share, we're all here to learn about each other's opinions, each other's lifestyles, and that's kind of the space that we've created.
In this brave space, how are you going to try and balance the earnestness and the seriousness of what you want to do versus perhaps more of the performance aspects?
I think it makes a difference whenever we sit down and have a conversation face-to-face or even virtually with people, because they don't have time to prep anymore. It's kind of what their gut instinct is. It's how they talk. And whenever we talk, we make mistakes because it's the way we think. And we think it's a mistake, but it's okay. It's all part of the learning process.
We use statements, we use images to get you thinking about it because people are already thinking about it, but give you a few different perspectives and then really break this down of how do you feel, because social media doesn't always give you that opportunity, and it is just this performance of this is what I believe in, and there's not really room for people to dialogue with you and really get deep into these conversations. But there is so much depth, and I mean, I think it shows. We had so many people RSVP. We had to max out. People want to have these conversations. They're already having these conversations. So we're just providing a different space to do it that is as inclusive as possible.
Especially with the elections coming up, I think another part, what we're doing is we're trying to keep up with media patterns. So we're trying to see on media where exactly things are the most at opposition. So we kind of bring those topics in because, like Alex said, on media, it's really easy to just post something and then get either comments or likes, but those comments never get addressed. That dialogue never gets exchanged. So we bring those statements in, we bring those photos and those posts in, and we're like, okay, let's go over this. Let's exactly see what this is about. Let's see what you think about, and let's talk about it. I will say for incoming students, the biggest thing is we're all smart. We're all smart. There's no doubt about it. We've made it here. Now, the trick is to calm our egos because we want to speak up. We want to share. We want to say so many things, but our egos tend to take over because we want to be right. And one of the biggest things that I've learned with being here is that you'll never know enough. So kind of always keep an open mind to learning more about somebody else. You don't have to agree. You're allowed to disagree, but be open enough to learn something new.
Based on what you've heard just now, I think you can understand why I believe I have absolutely the best profession in the world, because I get to actually meet students like Shay and Alex and also be inspired by them. Within this building, we have an amazing program called SOAR, Skills, Opportunity, Action, and Results. And that is all about preparing our students for life after their undergraduate career, and particularly starting right at that sophomore year. Here, we're actually one of the leaders because in Texas, we have actually the #1 career placement center, and nationally, we're ranked #3.
Hi, my name is Grace Sexton. I'm a part of the class of 2022, and I attended the 2020 SOAR Summit. Before the summit, I honestly felt really lost, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do or how I was even going to get there. And if I did find something that was interesting to me, I had no idea how to articulate the kind of person that I am and what I'm good at and how I would have been the best candidate for that position. But the summit kind of forces you to figure out who you are and what you want and teaches you how to present that to the world in the most effective way. And you form connections and eventually friendships with the people that are around you and with the mentors that are there to help you. Everybody in that room wants the best for you.
A safe and healthy campus, you can imagine that we've had to make a lot of changes, and that includes physically distancing all of our classrooms, making sure that students do the fundamentals, which includes wearing a mask, physically distancing. One of the things that we did that we're going to be keeping well into the future is an abundance of outdoor furniture. We have more of these beautiful Adirondack chairs on campus than ever before, and we've also created nooks on campus where students can study at tables with a nice shaded tent coming to shield them from the sun. The way that we actually created food and made it available for our students had to change as well. And so we have carefully calibrated lines, we have plexiglass dividing diners, and we've really radically extended our dining hours so that we can make sure that all of our students are served. We also have a second venue on campus, which is more of a kind of a stop and shop and coffee bar and hamburger place. And that too has had extended hours. And also our students are able to order ahead and just come and pick up whenever they like. And from what I hear from our students, the food has really improved this semester, and we're expecting to see great things to continue throughout the fall and the spring. Great to have you along for the ride, and I love showing you our beautiful campus. So I invite you all to come and visit us. You can't have a better university than Southwestern, and I'm glad to be your host.